Hey, what's up out there, all you baddies? I need you to subscribe to Raze Chaos. I'm coming after you. Hoongala!
And welcome back, everybody. My name is Raze Chaos. You've made it back to my channel, and it's so exciting to be back here today. I swear, I always love it. I always love seeing you walk in the door with that big toothy grin on your face, and how you like to get right up in there. Well, I appreciate having to see you. I appreciate seeing you. He does too, but he's an asshole, and he won't tell you that. No, he's so full of himself. I swear to God. If this hat wasn't attached to him, I'd make it bigger and keep it. Whew. So today's video, I have got another like little unique thing for Raze Chaos. Doing something a little different as always, because Raze has only done Transformers one time in the past, and there is a reason for that. Raze is not the biggest Transformers fan. He used to watch it when he was a little kid and has very fond memories and love for it and everything. But as far as, you know, as time's gone on and their continuity, their canon has like expanded, I've really not cared to keep up with it. Yeah, I haven't even watched Transformer movies, to be perfectly honest with you. But going into the Dollar Tree a little while back, Raze found some classic Transformer minis there, really cheap. And since they all just screamed his time, he had to grab them all up. So today we're gonna go down a little Transformer nostalgia, and we're gonna put this guy away first. To clarify, I don't dislike the Transformers. It's just I just never kept up, and nothing really made me want to. I mean, it was for a while there. It was like, oh, you know, so and so's dead, and that kind of. It just kind of felt like it sped up around me a little bit, and since Raze keeps his head buried deep in the DC universe, kind of looked up and said, you know what? I don't care to keep up. I don't care. You know, some things are just fine going off and doing their own thing, and yeah, I mean. Don't hate me for it, because it's kind of like the Masters of the Universe as well. I mean, Raze, I know there's been some continuity, though, honestly, I have, like, read up on some of the latter Masters of the Universe series. Not necessarily one of his fandoms, but, like, definitely one that he has a lot of fun, love for. But we're going to go ahead and take a look and see who we got. We got, like, 5 different characters. And I think we'll start off with this little yellow guy, Bumblebee. He was kind of, I don't want to say the young one, the kid, because, I mean, they're robots. They don't really have ages the same way living beings do. But he always kind of came off as the kid, and one of the few outside of the actual 80s cartoon that Raze spotted once got an actual comic book of the Transformers, and in it Bumblebee had essentially gotten amnesia, and he was stuck in his Volkswagen form, and so he was like basically in a used car lot. A couple car thieves steal him, and they go riding around on it with him, and he can't remember, and he feels a malfunction, so he can't transform back, and he just kind of enjoys it. Honestly, he kind of enjoys just being a car for a while, until one of the guys starts tinkering around in the back, and, you know, inadvertently fixes him. And fixes him is what we're going to do, because we're going to go ahead and take this guy out. And yes, I love the detail on these guys. Really simple, but yeah, you can see the I love it when they do figures like this of the Transformers. I believe I've gotten one of the Dinobots, as far as like what Raze already had, as far as Funko Pop goes, and just love the fact that you can actually see what he turns into from the outside, and this is no exception. The detail on these things, for being little plastic figures, are pretty good. Like I said, Dollar Tree dollar figures are actually well worth it if you're interested in it. They are cheap, but that just means you can collect them all. But yeah, that's Bumblebee. Yeah, he was kind of the Transformer the children could relate to, that's for sure. But then you had the big daddy of Optimus Prime. Oh God, we are not even going to waste time. We're just going to tear this guy open and have a look at him. Comes right out, and yeah, I thought he had his gun in his hand for some reason. I don't know why. What I used to love about Optimus Prime is, you know, he's semi-truck, and when he would transform, like, the trailer would, like, go away. Like, with the toys, that was part of the command center and everything. But, like, you know, a lot of times he would have the semi-trailer behind him because he doesn't look as majestic when it's just the front, when it's just the rig itself. You got to have the truck and the trailer on there for him to be huge in that respect. But, like, you'd always have that little woo just kind of float away when they would show him transform and everything. And I always kind of thought that was hysterical. And Optimus Prime was the leader, and there was no mistaking that. And here he is, I don't know, he's like screaming or something. And yeah, that was, I don't exactly understand this pose, but you know, who cares? But yeah, I always loved that you can see the windshield that was his chest, which if you've ever been around a semi-truck, this does make the perfect chest for a gigantic robot. But oddly enough, that's all the good guys that they had available. The rest of them were all bad guys. And we'll start out with one of Raze's favorites right here. This is probably why Raze thought there was a gun with Optimus Prime, because there is a gun with Soundwave. And Soundwave was like the coolest. I mean, his voice was the coolest. He had a little, I'm going to take this out while I'm talking to you. Yeah, his little shoulder mount was like super cool as well. And open up. His shoulder mount was really cool. And the fact that he turned into a boombox. Now, in the early 80s, there was a whole thing where people used to carry their massive boomboxes on their shoulders next to their ear while they were listening. And so that's part of what made him just so cool, is because everybody kind of wanted to hold him on there. That, and he actually came with like little cassette tapes that he kept in the tape deck on his chest. What made it even cooler in the cartoon was that he's doing it right here. He's actually pushing the little eject button on his shoulder. That opened up, and like the tape would fly out and transform into yet another Transformer, which was one of his sentries. So that immediately made him cooler, because, you know, he could flat out, he had these little minions inside his chest. You only ever saw him pop one out. And of course, as far as the toy goes, the toy could only hold one. But it always made you wonder, like, how many could he chuck out of here? I don't know if they've expanded on that. I don't know if they've updated this character, because him being a boombox is absolutely 80s. There's really no way around that. There's no robot in disguise here. There's no robot disguised as obsolete equipment. But yeah, so I would imagine Soundwave has had some kind of upgrade. But yeah, even his pelvis has the play and stop buttons and all that on there. And so yeah, this was this was really cool, and he was one of those people that you were. He was one of the characters you looked forward to seeing when that cartoon came on. So a lot of fun. So, and who are we going to go next? This is really rough, but I think we're going to go with Starscream next, because even though Megatron was the leader of the Decepticons, Starscream was the worst. You know, disguised as the jet fighter and everything. He had the shooters and everything, you know, the arm cannons. But he had a voice. I think he may have had the same voice actor as Cobra Commander, because it kind of sounded the same. But he was whiny. He complained a lot, and he was honestly. He almost seemed like, you know, he wanted to take over the Decepticons. So he was like one of those guys that, like, not even the bad guys could trust, because, yeah, I mean, he was just pure bad. he was, yeah. I mean, Starscream was the one that you, if there was a situation where the Autobots were trying to negotiate with the Decepticons and everything, and it seemed to be going well, this little bastard would be the one that ended up ruining that. So, yeah, he was the one. I think I hated him more than I did Megatron, because, yeah, it was just kind of like, dude, what's your deal? Yeah. Yeah, well, to me, he was the true villain of the Decepticons. I don't know how that's translated in the later things, but like that has stuck. So yeah, to me, Starscream's always been the bad guy, and yeah, just don't mess with that little booger. But now we've got the big bad himself, the leader of the Decepticons. We have got Megatron. And as far as badass villains go, he really was one of the badass villains of all time. I mean, not only was he huge, but then for as big as he was, he would transform into something that that you could, you know, fit in your hand. But yes, being a gun, I think it's really hysterical that that this was even allowed to be a thing in the early 80s. I mean, yeah, well, I mean, technically we still gave kids, they still gave us guns when we were kids. And toy guns. I think Raze was in grade school when he saw something about the news talking about how they were going to stop making guns look realistic because people were using toy guns in actual robberies, and so that's when they started painting them like yellow and green and all these other non-gun colors. And I remember at the time being so upset with that, because even grade school Raze was like, that's gonna take the fun out of the shooting our friends, because we all had toy guns. We all used to pretend to shoot each other. That's what we did. And yeah, we're fine. But yes, Megatron was such a badass. You rarely saw him actually transform in the cartoon, because, you know, when you've got, like, you know, jet fighters and semi-trucks and even Volkswagen bugs flowing around, this little tiny gun's going to get lost. So he tended to stay in his robot form most of the time and keep it that way, and he always had the gun sight as his weapon, and just always imposing, taking up his entire arm, and yeah, the barrel being on his back, so you knew that was going to shoot too. This was another where I actually did read a comic book that was kind of centered around him. Mind you, it's from the early 80s. It's from the Marvel line of Transformer comics. And that was, again, he gets trapped in his in his gun form, and he gets picked up by some like little hood, you know, I say hood. We didn't have the hood back then. By some street back alley guy, gangster, gang member, whatever you want to put it. And he basically became a crime boss just by having this gun. When he picks it up and pulls the trigger, it doesn't work. But when he points it at somebody and says, "Blast him out, gun," essentially you get more than what looks possible from this little tiny gun. And it would just blow things up, like whenever he aimed it. And of course, as the story went, you know, eventually he gets into a scuffle with somebody. The gun falls down and hits the ground. It dislodges something, and suddenly Megatron's able to transform back. And unlike the Bumblebee episode or issue, where Bumblebee is like actually makes friends with the little humans that he was running around with, Megatron has nothing but disdain for this individual. And when this guy demands that, you know, hey, you're my gun, you will do what I say, Megatron dispatches him. Because of course he does. But yes, as far as imposing, he was the most imposing of all the Decepticons. You know, as mean as some of them looked, there was something about Megatron that would make you stop and pay attention. And he almost seemed like he was somebody that like had some kind of code of ethics to him, where, you know, he could be rationalized with, he could be reasoned with and everything, unlike a certain asshole over there. But yeah, it's really cool. And while Raze isn't the biggest Transformers fan, this was just enough to scratch that little itch that was there. So very happy with this. But let me know what you think as far as these little figures go. Which one was your favorite, and are you a current Transformers fan, or are you like Raze, where, yeah, I watched the cartoon when I was a kid and I loved the crap out of it, but nothing I tend to revisit that much? Either way, let me know down in the comments below. I'm glad that you came to accompany me in this little walk down memory lane, and I look forward to seeing you back again. But so whatever you do, have a great day, and never forget that life is full of odd moments. You never know when you're going to be defined.